Hi guys, welcome to a very special Life Talks with Crystal Phoenix. This actually isn't the Life Talks episode. Today is a celebration of my sister's life. She passed away 3 years ago, January 5th, and we weren't able to do a memorial service for her. And 3 has always been a very lucky number in my family. So I made the decision to do a celebration of her life today and share videos of her and, you know, from her friend. I have a very beautiful video from one of her friends, sing some songs that she loved, and just to kind of honor her life, tell, about her and things like that. So, forgive me if I'm a little emotional today about this. I miss my sister a lot. So, anyway, my sister Susan was, well, wonderful sister. She was larger than life. A lot of you guys know I wrote a chapter for her in my anthology that was just released, and in the Speechless anthology as well, just telling a little bit about her. But I do have a video from one of her best friends, Cheryl, that she sent me today to play today. Let me just kind of find it. Hey, Ajot, Ollie, Mac, thank you guys for coming. I truly do appreciate you guys so much. Let me find those files real quick. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second and I will share my screen. Alrighty, so hey Maggie, thank you, sweetheart. Alrighty, give me 1 second here. I'm getting it all set up, guys, so just bear with me here. Loading. Gotta love tech, right? All right, this is a video that was sent by her best friend to me this morning in honor of her. So here we go.
Hi, Crystal. This is Cheryl, Susan's best friend, and this is Susan here with me in my living room, and we love her very much. This is Mom over here who loves Susan very much. Say something, Mom.
I love Susan very much. I miss her very much. She loved you very much.
And here's Patty, my sister, who was Susan was Patty's biggest fan, wasn't she?
Yes.
She was your best friend.
I love her to death, and I miss her to death. I pray for her every day.
You pray for her every day.
Yeah, I miss her so much.
And there's Patty wearing her Minnie Mouse in
Yeah.
memory. Susan loved Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, she did.
She sure did.
Yeah.
And we are so happy and honored to have the opportunity to do this memorial for Susan, because Susan meant the world to us. She was a part of our lives, and she still is. We love her very much, and we want everybody to know it. Okay, thank you.
No more pain for Susan.
No more pain for Susan.
No,
Susan's
no
free.
pain.
Susan's
Susan.
free. Susan's free.
Susan.
Yeah, we love her. And she's resting in peace in heaven. And she's here with us every day in our
Watching
hearts,
over.
Yeah.
watching over us. And she's on our side.
Okay, not
Right?
long.
Okay. Love you, Susan.
So yeah, that's just a small testament, of my sister. She actually, Cheryl, she helped Cheryl get out of a abusive relationship. Go figure. She was, my biggest fan. She she took me in when I was a baby with my biological mom, Betty. Some of you know the story, some of you don't. But when I was born, my biological mother was 17 and my dad was turning 20. And they were not together and definitely not ready to have a kid. Susan was 21 and had her own apartment because, well, Susan was she was the black sheep of the family, but amazing as it is. And when Betty didn't have anywhere to go, Susan took her in with me and let them stay there together. Let us stay there, and thank God she did, because by the time I was 9 months old, had already been in foster care once, and thankfully it was at Susan's apartment that my mom actually had found me. Susan was at work, and Betty left me there all alone at Susan's apartment on the bed. And if it had been anywhere else, mom wouldn't have been able to walk in and find me all alone on the bed, and so mom adopted me. Biologically, Susan is my aunt. She's my dad's older sister. But I was raised thinking of her as my sister. And welcome, Pinky. Thank you so much for being here. Pinky is one of Susan's very close friends as well. So I'm actually wearing her earrings. That she had given me the last time I was in Florida before she passed. She had bought me this when we went to the swap shop together. She loved swap shop. And now most of you didn't even know I have a second piercing. And when Susan was getting married to Johnny, our sister Sandy and I were her bridesmaids, and as a sisterly bonding thing, we all got the second piercing together. So in honor of Susan, I actually made sure to wear a pair of earrings. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate that. And her favorite color was purple, so I made sure I had to wear a purple shirt for her. I've got other pictures and videos that I want to share of her real quick. And then I do plan on singing a few songs that she had loved, that we used to sing together, kind of thing, as well. So actually, I think while I'm singing the song from her that I sang to her and Johnny at the wedding, I think I will actually just have the pictures that, well, actually, no, I really can't do that. I don't really have enough pictures for that, but I'll show some pictures that I've got from her Facebook and things like that. So really quick, Pinky, you were really good friends with her. If you could put in the chat what you think her favorite song is besides Elvis. We know Elvis and Michael Jackson, but what do you think her favorite song was? If you could just throw that in the chat for me, I'll make sure to play it at some point today during this. So, and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. It is emotional, and thank you, college. I appreciate that. We miss her. She's no longer in pain anymore, and that is a big thing. Ollie, that question you asked me about college, why don't you go ahead and post that in the chat form as well? I don't mind. But I am going to share my screen from her actual Facebook and of different pictures real quick, and then I'm going to do my first song for her. So now this was Susan back in 2013. Yeah, she was a huge Elvis Presley fan, Pinky, huge Elvis Presley fan. Oh yeah, she loved Elvis. That's Susan and our sister Sandy. Beautiful, and that's John hiding back there in the background, my eldest. That's John and Kaylee. She loved her nieces and nephews. Not sure what this picture one is, but that's Susan when she was in the hospital. She loved getting her nails done, and Pinky can verify that's actually short for her. That's more like it. That's our beautiful Aunt Eve. Yes, she did. She loved cats. And our cousin Adam. Me, when Mackenzie, that is my dad, actually, her brother. There's one of her cats. Pinky, you know the name of this one. I don't remember its name. Dad and me, it's Susan. There's Susie. That was her when she worked at Hard Rock. Actually, Annie's, I think that's Ronnie, maybe. Annie's bird. That's our Uncle Chris. That's Susan and Johnny at their wedding. For those of you that don't know, I actually wrote a chapter about their relationship in my, not Ronnie. Okay. Thank you. I just don't know who it is. But I have, some other pictures and videos that I wanted to share as well. Just give me a moment, guys. Sorry. But I remember 1 year for her birthday. Now, Pinky, you may not have known her back then, but she did like to drink a little bit. And her favorite was tequila. And I remember for my 19th, right around my 19th birthday, she picked up a bottle of tequila. This was before Johnny left. And me, her, Johnny, and my ex-husband, Nathan, we had some fun sitting in the condo, just getting hammered. It was so much fun. She was always so full of life. She did not care what anybody said. It would, she would give you the shirt off her back. She was always there for you. She just was amazing. And she was something else, that's for sure. I remember when I was little, she used to bring me these coloring books and sit with me and color. And she loved to cook. And she was actually the first person I ever had curry with. And it was amazing. Her and Johnny had made curried goat. And I have yet to find anybody that can make it the way they did. It was amazing. It was so good. But she always loved to make foods like that. And she just was amazing. She was larger than life. And, I miss her. I miss her every day, honestly. And she just was so beautiful inside and out that it's hard not to have, So to stop my rambling for a moment, I am actually going to sing the song that I sang to her and Johnny at the wedding. So just give me one moment here. Actually, what I could do while I'm doing that is I had made a clip from their wedding, and I am going to, I don't know how the highlight reel went. I kind of let AI generate it. I won't lie to you guys. So, but So let's see what happens with that. Oh, no, never mind. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So what I will do then is I will let the actual video play for a little bit and kind of skip through it while I'm doing the song. How's that, guys? Oh. All right. I'm getting there, guys. I'm sorry. What's funny is I actually planned a lot of this out, and I'm still just a scatterbrain. That probably doesn't surprise you in any way, I guess. Where'd it go? I just had it. I don't get it. Why is my freaking computer being silly? Okay. There we go. Found it. That is Johnny at the wedding, by the way, guys. All right. So here we are again. I guess it must be fate. We tried it on our own, but deep inside no, we'd be back to set things straight. I still remember when your kiss was so brand new. Every memory repeat, every step I take retreat, every journey always brings me back to you. After all the stars, we come back to the world. The angels do from the floor. After all the way through, welcome down to me. I guess it's meant to be forever you and me. After all, when love is truly right, love is truly right. It lives from here to here. It changes as it grows, flowing on way it grows, but it never disappears. After all the stars and stars, we keep coming back to things so bright. Oh, angels move and rescue. Oh, after all the way through, nothing found at you. I guess it's meant to be forever you and me. After all, always just beyond the touch. No, I needed you so much. No one else is living for. After all the stars and stars, we keep going back to these little lights. The angels will bear us all from the all the way through. Welcome down to me and you. I guess it's meant to be me. Forever you and me. After all, back to this so long. The angels will bear rest on the throne. Like the rock, the one that grows, and comes down the kingdom rule. I can face to be forever you and me. After all. Now let's see if I can fast forward to when I sang it at the actual wedding. That would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? God, that she was so beautiful that day. We had so much fun. Mom and Sandy and Eve. It was an amazing day. It really was. Wish I could remember exactly where it was when I sang. Oh, but so yeah, I sang that for Susan and Johnny at the wedding because they had been together. Oh, no sound, great. So were you guys able? I didn't want sound on the wedding, honestly, guys. That's why I didn't have it, because I was planning on singing. So, and yes, college, they always will. They love, my family is amazing. And Izzy, like I said, honey, the offer's there. I will drop the StreamYard link right now to remember, your son as well. You're welcome. If you just say the word, Ma, and you are welcome to come up and share your story about your son as well. We really did. We had so much fun. I remember helping her with her makeup and everything. It was an amazing day. She was so beautiful and so happy that day. And I mean, and they had a few beautiful years together. They did. But addiction's a very hard thing. Oh, I found it. And I will unmute it so you guys can actually kind of see what I was like when I was a teenager. Because when they got married, I was 16. So, you're ready? All right, Izzy. I will drop that link in 1 second, sweetheart. So you guys can laugh at me from when I was 16. There we go. Sorry, guys. I thought I had it timed right. There we go. Oh, I'd laugh at myself. Are you kidding? Thank you, Izzy. Susan was an amazing sister. She always made sure when I lived in Florida to have food in my house. She would take me to the meat markets, and she had a thing for chicken. She always wanted to get these huge bags of chicken. It was so funny. But she loved her cats and SpongeBob. Can't forget about SpongeBob. She was SpongeBob crazy. It was so funny. And she loved her sweets, and so she just was an amazing person. Well, welcome, Izzy.
Oh, thank you.
I'm very, very glad you decided to join me. I really am. You know, this is a safe zone, and your son, you know, deserves to have his story told, and you not to be, you know, mocked or anything like that. You know, my platform is always a safe zone, and you share and feel and get it out. Izzy, welcome.
Thank you, Oil.
You know, the video that you made, that you did for him that I saw earlier, you're welcome to share that again. That was beautiful.
It was actually like one of my first ones that I've made. It's not really as good as I do now. So
Hey, we
I
all
can
start,
imagine
right?
it's an old one.
It doesn't matter though. It was beautiful.
Well, thank you.
It truly was. And if you want to share it now, go ahead. Or if you just want to talk about it, I don't know your son's story at all,
Well,
honestly.
I will tell you.
So
On January the 7th, 2021, the night before was the insurrection, and we were under martial law. We couldn't leave our houses, and my son was trying to leave at 10 o'clock that night, and I told him he couldn't leave because we had um, martial law. Well, he was 35 years old. It wasn't like he was a child, but he had the mind of a 15-year-old. So I had to treat him like he had the mind of a 15-year-old, and that's hard to do when he's a grown ass boy, like he said. Instead of a grown ass man, he was a grown ass boy. Um, so that night, I think he snuck out of his window, which, because I slept in the living room where the door was, I knew he didn't go out. So I think he snuck out of the window because the next day, on the 7th, I was talking to the car company. Well, actually, I was watching Maury Povich, and he came in the living room and held out his hand, and he had 4 Seroquel. That's the medicine that he takes, and he didn't have any. He was supposed to get it renewed on the 4th, but we didn't get to the doctor. I made the appointment for the 11th, so he passed away 4 days before he could get his medication. So he got it from someone else and found out later that the tablets that he got wasn't Seroquel. One of them was fentanyl, heroin, and methamphetamine pressed tablet, and it brought a 240-pound 6'1" boy down to the ground. I mean, just dropped him. It doesn't take much at all. He was eating cereal. I got a phone call from the car company. They had just repoed my car, and it had my handicap placard in it, and also, my stuff. And the lady at the car company said, I told her I didn't have any way to go get it. You took my car. So she went to the place to get it, and she said when she had called to tell me that day that I could come and get it, which the car company was like right behind the apartment I was in. So that wouldn't have been so bad going over there to get it. So but I had um sciatica, I couldn't even straighten up that day. And I asked my son when he came through with the bowl of cereal, I said, "Will you go and walk over to the car company and get the box of stuff?" And he said, "Yeah." And I guess I was talking too loud while he was watching TV. So he got up to go in his room, and we always fist bumped each other. He'd always say, "You okay?" And I'll say, "Yeah, I'm okay." Or I would say, "Are you okay?" And we would just fist bump. Well, he was holding his bowl, and he stopped at the doorway at my chair, and he said, "Are you okay?" He he fist bumped me, and I said, "I'm okay." And that was the last words he said to me. I'm sorry, God. It was the last words he said to me, and he went in his room. I was still talking to the people from Bergland, from the car company. He went in his room, and I heard him coughing, which I figured he was toking. He always did that. He'd get the big tokes and just, cough a lot. And I heard a noise, and I thought it was, you know, him doing whatever he does in his room. And he did live with me because he was schizophrenic, and he was mentally delayed. He had the mind of a 15-year-old, and he was a grown man. I heard the noise, and then I was talking to the car company, and then this was minutes. It was minutes, and 20 minutes till 2 is when he went to his room, and I heard the coughing at a little bit till 2. Heard the noise, and then I saw the cat, which is Nugget, the Maine Coon that we still have, my granddaughter's cat. I saw him jumping up on the doorknob, and you could see the shadow of the cat underneath the door, jumping up on the doorknob to try to get out. And I was hearing it and seeing the shadow. Like I said, I had sciatica, so it was hard for me to even walk. So I figured I'd go to the bathroom while I was up. So you walk through the kitchen, and then it's his room, and then the bathroom is after that. So I opened up the door to let the cat out, and I barely opened the door, let the cat out, went to the bathroom, came back, and I thought to myself when I was in the bathroom that I didn't see his feet. And if he was asleep, I would have seen his feet in the bed, and I didn't see his feet. So I pushed the door open, and I had to keep pushing it open, and it was really hard because I couldn't even straighten up. I got in the door, and he was sitting in his recliner, and the coughing, he had leaned forward and just fell forward, and he was on his knees, and his arms were up underneath him, and he couldn't have moved either way. His feet wouldn't have stretched out because the chair was against the wall, and his feet were against the footstool of the chair. His head was against the table leg, and he was like wedged there. Um, he was black from he had his shirt off, and he had his shorts on, but his the blood had pooled. I thought he had a massive coronary because of all the blood that had pooled in the in his upper body where he was leaning forward. Half of him was just solid white where the blood had just his butt was in the air. That's what I was trying to tell you. That's how his blood had drained. And I called 911. And well, first I tried to see if he was still breathing, and I moved his head, and he had landed on his nose. He had landed on his face, so he asphyxiated. There was vomit everywhere. When I turned his head to the side, he had the death gurgle. Um, when I was talking to 911, they asked me if I knew how to do CPR, and I said, I know he's dead. I used to do autopsies. I know when somebody's dead. I know there's no way, no how, no way this is going to be anything different than what it is. So they asked me if where I could see the fire department pulling up, and I said in the front, and she said go there, because I was just so upset. I guess, I don't know, but I went to the window and waited on them, and they came in, and I honestly thought that they were going to wheel him out on the gurney with, the bag hooked to him, and I could go visit him in the hospital, even if he was in a coma. I could still go see him and still fuss at him, or whatever I needed to do. And I felt like if only, having those few more minutes, or those, I don't know. It's just been, AJ. So when they took him out, they didn't take him out on a stretcher. They, we always called them, I lost what I was thinking of, but when they came to get him, the mortuary, when they came with the coroner, when they sent the meat wagon, when they sent them out, it was an old man and a young man. It's two different vehicles. And the reason I say this is because I'll tell you, they put him in a body bag, and as they was carrying him out, they dropped him in front of me. And I'll never forget the sound of his head hitting the concrete.
Oh my God. Oh.
It was just so much trauma in one day. And when we were waiting on them to come pick him up, the officer that was there with me, she, because they were waiting for somebody to come meet with me, and the officer was standing there, and I asked if I could sit with my son, and he was laid out like Jesus. His hands were both laid out to the side. His eyes were white. The pupils of his eyes were white when they were normally a dough brown, deep almond brown, and they were just white as they could be. And both his feet were crossed at the bottom, like he was hanging on a cross. It was just one thing after another. But I sat in there and talked to him. They opened the window so that his soul could go, and I thought that was probably the sweetest gesture of anything I've ever seen. So I went after I called the coroner, and I talked to the medical examiner, which was a different one that I worked for. And I told her I used to work there, and I told her, I know what all you look for, but will you look for something else? And she said, what's that? And I said, I want to know if there's anything wrong with his heart, because he has a son that, I want his son to know if he might need some kind of, if he's got some kind of congenital heart disease. And I don't know. I'm sorry. Crystal, you invited me. I know this is...
Don't you dare apologize. We are here to support
I
each other.
know, but this was
And
supposed to be about.
no, I just put that in there for a few people
I
that
know, I
don't know
know that.
you and for the people on LinkedIn. No, I made that offer to you today
I know.
because
I
you
just
need
feel.
this. Okay. One of Susan's friends who is here specifically for that, she just said, don't apologize. Susan would say the same thing. No, you needed a safe space to tell his story. And
Well,
I offered it. And you
well,
know what?
the,
His story is heartbreaking. I mean, the fact that he thought he was taking his meds
yeah,
and that it
he did.
wasn't, and the fact that they dropped him in front of you, that is so heartbreaking. Number one. And my heart goes out to you, Izzy. I mean, to lose a child is one of the hardest things in the world. My mom, my adopted mom, Susan's mom, has had to bury two of her children. My dad from a motorcycle accident, and then Susan because of, well, her diabetes was what it was, but I honestly still blame Johnny for it. You know, for the abuse and the abandoning her when she needed him the most. She just gave up, you know? So, absolutely, you've got that ready to share.
Yeah,
Let's do
yeah.
it. Mhm. All right. Mhm.
You ready?
Yep, let's go. I've got it up.
Hey, can I read that down? I can't snore. Like, do I snore bad?
What's up, buddy? You at the beach swimming? Hell yeah. I'm just looking out my window. Hit me up.
Hey, nephew. This is your Uncle Randy. I've been abducted by aliens, and they cloned the rest of my body, now their face.
That was my son.
He looked like he was larger than life, that he had fun. You know, mental health is no joke, and it's not one size fits all. You know, I am very much about the holistic. You know, I refuse to be on antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds. Um, but I won't lie, I use migraine, you know. But when you have something like the schizophrenia and things like that, you need those meds. So for someone to take advantage like that is so horrible and heartbreaking, you know. So thank you for trusting me and our community to, you know, share your
Yeah.
story.
Well, thank you for allowing me.
Absolutely.
I was approached when I first came to when I first went live. Not when I first. I was still a subscriber. I
Mhm.
was approached right after my son's death to share his story, and I didn't. And it turned out it was a good thing I didn't because the woman who wanted to do this used everyone's stories against them. And she's been taken off of YouTube, but she did. She used everyone's because it doesn't matter how safe this is, it's the internet and it's always there. And I've done went through so much poking and prodding from people, you know, coming in as my dead son's name, coming in asking why I killed my son, just different things like that to hurt. Once they find out you have a tragedy in your life, they use that trauma against you. And I've come a long way in avoiding and ignoring people like that. But to know that there are people out there that will take from anything we say and use it against us is a sad thing. It's sad that we can't have channels like this. And this is what my channel started out being, Crystal, was me talking about and people coming up and talking about their traumas and helping each other. But I got so much flack from it. So I just started making channel art. It just wasn't safe anymore, I guess you'd say. I don't know if
I
that's
understand
the
what
way
you're
to say it.
saying. I do. And that's why we're building the village. And I love you and I appreciate that you trusted me to do
Okay,
this.
well, I've got
And
somebody at the door, so I'm gonna jump down here.
all right. I love you. And if you want to jump back in, feel free. I'm always here, Izzy. I love you. Mhm. So, ah, well, now then, thank you guys for being there and for listening because she needed that, um, when Susan was getting worse with her diabetes and everything. I remember the last conversation that I had on the phone with her. I actually quote it in the chapter that I wrote about her in the anthology that I just did. She was yelling at me. Mom didn't know what to do anymore. She was in and out of being lucid, and she was yelling at me that she wanted to go home and that nobody was letting her, and we just wanted her money, and we wanted this, and we wanted that. And I remember saying to her to shut the and pardon my French, I'm quoting myself exactly, by the way. And Pinky, you're gonna laugh at this one. I told her to shut the hell up, that she could literally tear up the will, everything, and as if that meant that she would be healthy and come home. I didn't want her fucking condo. I didn't want anything. I wanted my sister. And she said, well, I love you too. And I told her to shut the hell up, listen to the doctor so that she could come home. And that was December 27th. And January 5th, she was at Cleveland Clinic. When they transferred her, things were going better, we thought. And then her body literally just like started to massively shut down. She was on life support, and me and Mom had a discussion because technically I was executor of everything, and we had to make the decision of whether we were going to keep her on life support or take her off. And the thing is Susan and I had talked about this when Dad died, because he was in a motorcycle accident, and we all of us were in agreement that we didn't want to be kept on life support. We didn't want to be a vegetable. It's not living any kind of a life. So we made the call to take her off life support with the condition that the hospital waited until my aunt and uncle could be there with her, so that she wasn't alone. So January 5th, it was about 8 p.m. EST. I don't remember the exact time, but we took her off life support. I was in Iowa. Aunt Eve and Uncle Chuck were there, and she just went to sleep. And I was relieved but angry, honestly. Yeah, she did. She loved Aunt Eve and Uncle Chuck. But I was angry. I was really angry because I had given her so many different recipes and different things and, encouragement and set up diets and workouts that she could do to get her healthy again so it didn't happen. And I was just angry because I felt like her death was unnecessary. And when the first time Johnny left, she was shortly after she'd been diagnosed, actually, with diabetes. And he'd stolen a bunch of stuff from her. She was able to get most of it back. And it was because of his cocaine addiction. And she tried to move on with her life. She did pretty well, but she liked her fast food and she liked her sweets, her ice cream and stuff. And she just couldn't let it go no matter how much we begged. And because of her weight, she didn't want to use the pool when people could see her. So it just was a struggle. And I do thank Matt and appreciate Matt so much, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to see her the year before she passed. And I'm so grateful that I got to spend that time with her. I still drive her car every day. And she's with me all the time. So I've got 2 other songs to do. Right now I'm going to do one that a friend of mine reminded me of this morning. She did like TLC, and especially with Izzy sharing her son's story as well just now. I love the song Waterfalls. In fact, during summer camp when I was, I think, 10, for our talent contest, me and 2 of my girlfriends actually made a dance to the song and everything. And Susan just thought it was so much fun. She just loved music and life and everything. So I'm going to attempt to sing Waterfalls. It's been a very long time. So just give me 1 second to grab something to drink. And here we go. Only trees and out of the window, ran out of so much she just in time. Without any reason, she'll be fine. We wasn't here like we used to do. All the praying just ain't it all. Just can't see that you can survive. Goes out this morning, another time. being don't go chasing waterfalls. Listen to the river, I know that you're gonna have a good night. Nothing else, but I think you're moving. Oh god. Yeah, no, guys, sorry, I can't do it. It's just too far off of my my base of what I can normally sing. Sorry. I tried, sis. I really did. But yeah, Susan, she loved her cats and she loved to cook, she loved food, she loved dad, and her brother, and she loved her papa. She was a daddy's girl. Like going through her Facebook, there's a lot of posts that she made about Papa, missing him and things like that. She just was such an amazing heart, and everything. Yeah. All right. This, I'm actually going to share a video. It's only like 30 seconds. If it actually, yeah, that's too blurry. Cheryl had sent it to me today, but not that one. Okay. That is Susan shortly before she died. I mean, look at the hair. I mean, come on, guys. She just was so full of life. That's Susan and Cheryl. That was her last birthday. That is Mom and Tracy and some other family friends. That's in front of the condo. Yes, very. And her with another friend. That's the video I was talking about. It's really blurry, but that was her last birthday.
Do it. Everybody.
She just was larger than life. She cared about everybody. She actually had made that video, or that picture, by the way, that was inside the condo, and posted it. That's Mom and Tracy and one of their friends. But yeah, she was an amazing sister. Here we go. I just made the video, the freaking folder. Where'd it go? Here we go. So that's Mom right there. John, Uncle Chris, Aunt Eve, and Susie. That is Susan and Dad and Sandy and Mom. Actually, when Susan was little, that's Susie. She was so pretty when that's Dad, Sandy, and Susan. That's the house that they grew up in Davie, or not Davie, sorry, Fort Lauderdale. That is the house before the house I grew up in. That was shortly before Susan stopped doing beauty pageants. That was Annie's wedding, actually. Uncle Chris, that's Bobshi. Uncle Chuck, Aunt Eve, Susan, Sandy, Mom. That's Sandy with John when he was, that was his first Christmas. And then Christmas when she was little. That's Susan with Papa at the beach. That was Dad's last birthday, actually. He was 40. He had passed away 20 years ago, March 3rd, actually. So, I think I'm back at the beginning. I'm not sure. Yeah. But she, no matter what, she was always on my side. Ironically, I really appreciated it. Even when I was a wild child, and I was, She let me come and stay at the condo a few times when I was 16 and living on the streets because, well, I was irresponsible and a brat, and I had my reasons for it, but that's neither here nor there right now. Um, yeah, picture of her kitties that she loved. Give me one second. There we go. Yeah, those were her babies that she absolutely adored. She loved cats. Always cats, and Elvis was a big one. Um, so she just was larger than life and was so charismatic and just so much fun. I mean, when I wrote the one chapter, toss the tiara and embrace the claws, those nails, that is why I said the claws. Because she always had her claws. Forget nails. When I would get my nails done, I got the athletic, short and everything, but no, she had her claws. And that bracelet that you see there, I love you, Ollie, it's okay. I actually have. It was the last gift from Dad to all of us. All three of us have one. And this one's Susan's. And I have the blue ring that she's actually wearing in that picture as well. I have, but it doesn't quite fit me. She had bigger fingers than me. But yeah, that's why the claws. Those ones were really cool. She just was amazing, and fun and everything. She was all about her family. She loved us, and she always wanted to be with us and wanted us. Her family wasn't just me, Mom, Sandy, Aunt Eve, Uncle Chuck, and Uncle Chris. No, the family. She built an amazing family as well. Friends that supported her and loved her amazingly, like Pinky, who's here, and I know a few others are going to be Team Replay. They told me, they just, she, yes, she did love Hello Kitty. She loved Hello Kitty. She loved SpongeBob. She was a big kid. She really was, which is okay. I loved that. I was a big kid, you know. Um, she never tried to change me. Yeah, we would argue every now and then. Don't get me wrong. We did. We didn't always see eye to eye, especially when I was trying to save her from herself. Um, you know, uh, she fell. She almost fell victim to a scammer who was playing at her heart, that she met online, and took me a bit, but I was able to get her to see reason, thankfully. But it doesn't always work that way, but and that's okay. She eventually listened to reason when I proved it, you know. So, you know, I'm gonna try and do an Elvis song that is actually in honor of her and of Dad, because Dad loved this song as well. He used to sing it, and it was his wedding song to when he got married to Tracy. But yeah, she did love Elvis, and she loved this song. So, just give me 1 second. Wise men say a fool's rushing, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I say, would it be again if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely, surely, something are meant to be. Take my whole life to I can't fall in love with you. Like a river flows slowly to the sea, slowly, slowly flows. Something are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too. I can't help falling in love with you. I can't help falling in love with you. So yeah. Thanks guys for humoring me here and being here with me. It's still hard because I'm still angry. I really feel like her life, shouldn't have ended. It was preventable, and part of the reason why I wrote, the chapter that I did in the anthology. I also, she lived life, by her own rules. I remember she would call me and do something about your mom, you know, and mom's being a brat, and things like that. Yeah, I remember. I remember playing mediator and calming her down and helping her out with mom. And don't get me wrong, there were plenty of times that she did the same thing for me. She was always the one on my side, especially after dad died. Yeah, Pinky, she did. She lived life to the fullest. She was unapologetic. She loved life. She loved food. She loved music. She loved her friends. She went to church. She had a huge heart, and she was just an amazing sister, and she is missed. I remember her dad telling me like funny stories about when they were kids, because as kind and loving as she was, she did have a temper too. I think that's all of us. They all of us in the Bay family. But I remember Dad telling me that she would throw anything and everything, like at him. He would stick up for Sandy because she was the baby, and Susan she would, anything she could get her hand on, she would just throw at him, and they would have fights. But when it came down to it, she always had my dad's back. She had Sandy's back. No, yeah. Then she could pick on her siblings, but don't let anybody else do it. Don't let anybody bad talk or hurt her family. She would come out guns blazing, so to speak. She just, no, absolutely not. She just was unapologetic and beautiful, and she wasn't smart in the traditional way. She wasn't street smart. When she was in school, they didn't have the testing that they do now. I do think that she was on the spectrum. I know, and things like that. And they just didn't know how to handle it back then. But she still, she lived life her way, and she did it her way. And she was unapologetic. She was beautiful. She was loud, and just her. I remember we would go to the swap shop walking around, and she had her movie guy, and like we had a million DVDs, and she loved movies and pop culture, and she just was her. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, when her and Johnny first got together, they worked at a car wash together, and she was, very, very, detail orientated. Like when she would detail the cars, when she was also a prep cook at Hard Rock, and I mean, she was very, very detail orientated, and she would, make it beautiful, and her food always tasted great. She loved to shop, and she loved getting her nails done and her hair done and spending time with her friends and just living life. And so I did this today to honor that, because when she passed away, all of us in the family were all over the country. So she was cremated, and we didn't do a memorial service. Well, it's a third anniversary, and 3 has always been a very lucky number in our family. And I felt it was time to honor her life and to give her a memorial. I've got my own little urn of her ashes that I keep. I have her jewelry. I have her car. I'd rather have her, but she's right here with me. That's the one thing that I never forget. Just because our loved ones have transcended to another plane doesn't mean that they're not with us. They're here in our hearts. They're here in our memories. I do believe in reincarnation, that our soul comes back until we've learned everything that we're supposed to, and then we go on to a better place. But I also believe that when you see a cardinal, it is a loved one coming to check on you. And I see them a lot. So I just, I love my sister and I miss her. but I know she's not in pain anymore, and she was in a lot of pain right before she passed. And I joke that her and Dad are, up in heaven, throwing things at each other, and her and Dad both loved Elvis, so they get to have private concerts with Elvis anytime they like now, and they're with Papa and Bobshi and surrounded by the people that they loved, that and Uncle Chris, who passed before us, and they're just waiting for us, watching over us, and telling us not to rush. That they're still here with us, experiencing life through us. A part of them is with us. So remember, you're never alone. The ones that we loved and lost are always with us in our hearts and watching over us. So thank you, everybody, for coming and being so beautiful and supportive. And I appreciate all of you guys for being here while I did this. It's a trying week for me right now. This week was one of the worst weeks of my life in 2022. January 5th, like I said, Susie passed. January 6th, I get the phone call from DHS that I had lost my case with my girls. And I'm still fighting, guys. Don't think I've given up. And then January 9th will be 3 years since the last time I actually got to hold them. So this week is just a very emotional, hard week for me, but I wanted to do something in memory of Susan and celebrate her life instead of mourn. She wouldn't want any of us to mourn. She would want us to celebrate her life and to live life to the fullest and, embrace life and enjoy it for everything that it has to give. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much, Pinky, for coming and, supporting me while I do this. I will be actually coming down to Fort Lauderdale, Pinky, in the end of February, and Cheryl and I are going to be going on the boat. I can't think of the name of it right now, but she used to work on the riverboat tour. The Jungle Queen. To spread the rest of her ashes. I will let you know when we're going. If you or any of her friends that are in South Florida that are on Team Replay, if you would like to join us when we spread her ashes over the ocean, because she did love the ocean and she had worked on Jungle Queen and had a blast. She used to love telling stories about that. So if you would like to join, I will let you know when I'm coming down and for that. But thank you guys, and thank you everybody. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being so supportive and everything. I appreciate every one of you. This has been kind of emotional for me. Love you, but I am going to say good night. Thank you. I love you too, guys, and love you, Pinky. Thank you for being here. It means a lot to me that you came. So have a great night, guys, and I will see you guys probably Friday or Saturday for the normal Life Talks with Crystal Phoenix. Be blessed. Remember, you are loved. You are not alone. Reach out through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through YouTube. I'm here. We have a whole community that supports each other. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Love you guys.